If you are on the run, and the government is after you, how do you avoid them? Stand in line at the DMV or post office. That's the best way to guarantee no government employee will talk to or pay any attention to you. Good job. Find a different government that doesn't like the government I'm running from. Hi, Edward. Zero digital footprint. No computers. No cards. Avoid security cameras. No contact with friends or family. Go cash only. Move somewhere remote and live off the land and or by doing cash labor. Make no new friends and try not to have any sort of regular routine. Well, a computer is possible, but you really have to take layers of precautions that most people won't pull off properly. Definitely no cell phone or any other wireless equipped mobile device that connects through the mobile network. Many cars have rolled off the factory with a mobile connection in the last 20 years or so. Immediately convert as much money as possible to cash. Ditch your credit cards, cell phone, car, etc. as ways to track you. Hitchhike to another city before using something like a bus or train to go even further, paying cash, and then use the name of somebody there by reading it off their name badge, identification, or whatever so you aren't picking your fake names yourself. Change your appearance by shaving not shaving if you're a man, and by dyeing your hair regardless. Avoid all contact with people you know. Do not log on to any online site with your previous identity. Depending on your ethics and desperation, steal somebody's credit card or even identity and use it judiciously to see if you can fly under the radar. Work like an illegal immigrant on under-the-table cash jobs. And when you get a place to stay, just become somebody's direct pay roommate. Eventually steal the identity of somebody deceased and use it to appear to legitimately emigrate to another country. Or apply for a credit card in your dog's name. A guy here in Australia was on the run from the police. He mailed his cell phone, switched on, to the other side of the country. This was back a few years ago when we weren't amazed if a cell phone held its charge for a few days. For a short while the law was convinced he was a couple of thousand miles away from his actual location. I say let him go after that. He's pretty clever. Continuously hike up and down the Appalachian Trail like that one guy who was on the FBI's most wanted list. What is my perfect crime? I break into the government's at midnight. Do I go for the vault? No, I go for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She tells me to stop. It's her father's business. She's the government. I say no. We make love all night. In the morning, the cops come and I escape in one of their uniforms. I tell her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I don't trust her. Besides, I like the cold. 30 years later, I get a postcard. I have a son and he's the chief of police. This is where the story gets interesting. I tell the government to meet me in Paris by the Trocadero. She's been waiting for me all these years. She's never taken another lover. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. I break into the government and uncover the conspiracy that led to me getting set up, likely along with the sarcastic sidekick that's a hacker and a shoehorned love interest that the money demanded. It depends on what they're after you for. If you murdered someone, you're heading to some kind of wasteland for the rest of your life. Alaskan wilderness, Australian outback, the Sahara, something along those lines. Like, they might know you're there in the general area, but nobody wants to spend the resources actually getting you. If it's something benign, try the French Foreign Legion. Just don't join up with long life expectations. You'll probably die in training. Better than going to prison for tax evasion. Though, you also have to be an able-bodied man for the Legion 1. I love that you called the Outback a wasteland. I've lived in the Outback and there are definitely some people trying not to be found out there. Pay my taxes. That'll drop me down a couple tiers on how much effort they're expending to bring me in. That gives me just enough of a lead on them to start a small construction business. Bribe a local economic development officer to put me on the short list for some public contracts. Be the low bidder. Do a shoddy job while lining my pockets with the excess cash. Then I'd start making donations to the campaign funds for some of the local state representatives. Use those connections to repeat the same process of getting public works contracts and doing a crappy job, but this time on a larger scale, making more and more money. Keep climbing that chain. At some point during all of this, my government buddies will put some pressure on the branches that want to bring me in. I'll end up paying some inconsequential fine to get out of trouble. Then I'd get into government so the bribes start flowing the other direction. My wife kids would run the business for me and other elected officials would give them those same big contracts while pretending that my influence had nothing to do with it. Hide in your own house. For Bin Laden it worked for almost 10 years. He wasn't being searched by the country he was living in. That would be like you being targeted by Russia while living in the US. I would hide in the village my grandmother lived in. Would be a surprise if the government knew this crap hole exists. Everyone is poor and dies of cancer. Only one person has a car and drives everyone to the next little village that is 1-2 hours away where you can buy clothes and crap. I would steal food at night from the neighbors and the only thing I have to fear is my death when the people find out it's me. Police doesn't exist. 12-year-olds drive motorcycles. I don't need a pass or other papers to work there. Your monthly salary is not bigger than 25 euros but it's okay. Life is simple. The easiest way to avoid them is to go to a country that hates the country that is after you. If you can't do that, then I'm guessing some sort of identity theft, where you create persona and pretend to be that person. I suspect it's super feasible with the right skills but I'm not 100% sure. I vaguely remember reading something about a guy who found the records of stillburns who died 25 years ago and somehow got their SS number and pretended to be them. Until of course the credit ran out. Do you mean the highly efficient, non-law abiding scary movie style government? Or the one that can't fix potholes without having a beating where two sides ask each other loaded questions and are met with question dodging answers and then have to have a vote pass at 51% met with endless appeals? Stand in a pothole. As someone who previously lived in Cleveland, I find this comment both hilarious and underrated. Move to the mountains. Become a burly, female lumberjack. Wear a lot of green plaid to blend in. I initially thought you said blurry instead of burly and I thought you were about to make a Bigfoot joke. R.I.P. Mitch Hedberg. Decoy snails. Live in a Faraday cage in a cave in the middle of nowhere. This is missing an urgent tag. Nice try FBI. There's this vacuum cleaner repair guy in Albuquerque, name is Ed. Call him and ask for a dust filter for a Hoover Max Extract 60 Pressure Pro. Have $125k in cash for each person in your party. You'll meet him at the John B. Robert Dam at the appointed time. You can never talk to your family or anyone you know for the rest of your life. Good luck. Live in an embassy? Go to Capitol Hill and just chill in one of the offices. No one is ever there. Hide myself in a bill that runs through Congress. They'll never even see me. Or the TPP. Was a runaway multiple points in life and seriously look this up. Get out the country and join a foreign legion. Seriously, a lot of people from other countries do it so you can get a new citizenship cause with that comes a new name and info if you want a new start. It instantly changed my name and etc when I become a citizen and then I am also a citizen of that country and a vet so it'd be tougher for my gov to try and expedite me. I was planning on joining the Spanish Legion if you were wondering. For me, living in the Pacific Northwest, I'd take out a bunch of cash and hightail it up to the rainforest just west of Seattle. Get way out there, find a local's cabin, and offer your labor for room and board. Chop firewood, hunt animals, whatever they need you to do. If you find a guy who doesn't trust the government, you found a friend. No one, I think, has mentioned avoiding any kind of pattern or predictability to your plan routine. Be as random as possible, don't repeat things regularly, keep moving, but again be random, and forget about contacting distant and forgotten friends who could hide you, and forget about seeing or speaking your family and friends as long as you want to evade captors. I'd grind myself into sawdust and have my neighbor eat a little of me with his food every day, sprinkle me on his mash, in his coffee, over jello, you know? Grow a beard and attend for the police force that's chasing me. Clever idea, Captain Valeri. If I were desperate, join a cult and go to their retreat. Even if the feds find me there's no getting in without a warrant and most cults are super lawyered up on that front. When they finally storm the compound, make your getaway and join another cult. Perhaps even get reeled into their relief system and get myself a bunch of followers to hinder the feds at every turn. In Holland we had a TV show just about that. You could sign up and if you got picked you have some time to get ready and you have to avoid getting caught for 30 days to win. They had a professional police team and everything to track you down. If you used your card to get some car they would have a car to bust you there in no time. They even put bounties on people's heads so when you gave the golden hint to catching them you would get a prize. One guy who was an ex-marine or something was so dang good at it he searched for the danger and tried to get as close as possible to the headquarters without getting caught. They even placed wiretaps in his girlfriend's house to listen to everything she was saying to get a hint to his location. The show is called Hunted, I believe. OP, what did you do? Removed a tag from a mattress. Turn myself to be homeless, a veteran, minority, mentally ill person, student. They always ignore those people. This is exactly a question a government would be asking. I can actually answer this because I've been in this very exact situation. Firstly, I recommend a safe hideout, a closet, cupboard, basement etc. in your home. Be sure to regularly call your loved ones to tell them you love them, and be sure to use your mobile device or computer to stay updated on the latest news, to see if there have been any major updates on your case. Waiting for so long can get really boring, so be sure to occupy your time by posting Facebook updates, ordering food for when you are hungry, and ordering good books off eBay. Hey, you might as well make the most of it. I also recommend taking regular trips outside for refreshing walks etc. Public places are safe. Go to your nearest community center and perhaps decoupage a nice gift box to occupy your time and occupy your mind. Username does not check out. I had a friend in high school that told a story about when he takes long poops he tends to get bored. So, he would grab a plunger, slam it onto the floor next to him so it would suction, and pretend it was a gear shift. Give that man a Nobel Prize. Watch Enemy of the State. Go to the nearest airport with a gun. They will fear you after that. Go to Russia and wait for your passport to be revoked. Tactical cartwheels. You have been spotted by the money pigeon. Comment gimme gimme and he will bless you with good fortune. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.